All right, let's do it. Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to be making my drink here really quick. Let you know what I'm drinking on. I used to be a bartender, you guys, back in the day. Again, this is supposed to be like a laid back setting. I figured that people are more laid back when they could talk about their personal finances and things when they're just kind of in a group kind of cocktail setting or at a bar. It's really laid back. So, like I said, don't feel free to interrupt me. This is not a classroom setting or anything like that. So, we're going to talk about repairing your own credit. Can you hear me? Yeah, feel free to unmute at any time. That's fine. Somebody said they're drinking apple juice. Okay. Yeah, so I'm drinking a watermelon run. I call it a runner, like a rum runner. So it's simply watermelon and Bacardi. And I got a couple little mint here. So I'm gonna mix that up while I'm talking to you guys. Okay. So with repairing your own credit, everybody knows that you can easily hire a credit repair company. The only reason that you would hire a credit repair company is that you don't want to do the work yourself, basically, because you can actually do all of it yourself. You just have to be knowledgeable about what's out there. All right. So, like most of the time, when it comes to credit repair, it is based on factual information. A lot of people feel like, okay, well, I did do this debt and I do owe it. That may be true, but there is some things about the way that the credit bureaus report that information, okay, to your credit report. So, and the things that they report on there are inaccurate between all three bureaus. So you have to really fight it based on factual information. So I told you guys to bring your credit reports to this meeting so you could kind of know and see what I'm talking about, especially if you've never looked at a credit report before. Credit Karma is not the most reliable source. I will tell you that right now. It doesn't give you the account numbers or anything like that for you to dispute accurately, which is, I mean, I know some people tell me like, oh, well, I bought things on Credit Karma before and it came up. That might be true. However, it's not the most accurate things. How can you fight accurate information on your credit report if you don't know what's truly on there? Like, for example, if you look at your credit report right now, if you have it in front of you, if you have maybe one from Identity IQ or a formal one that's a paid site, there's like a little box down at the bottom of your accounts. And it has the dates of like the year. You'll see like August of 23, September 23, and then you'll see like little 30-day, 60-day, 90-day marks or in those boxes. And what that means is that that account was late during those months. So Credit Karma doesn't have that information, right? And so because they don't have that information, how can you accurately dispute anything on your credit report? So with that being said, you want to look at your credit report right now and look at the things that are derogatory on your credit report, whether it's charge-offs, collections, late payments, anything like that. And, see what you can do, like compare it, look at it across all three bureaus. See if the account numbers are the same. See if the dates of last activity are the same. See if, what else? The dates of last activity, the posting dates, the balances, the high credit amounts. If you see anything that's different between Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, that is enough information for you to dispute, because by the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all three bureaus are supposed to be reporting accurately the same thing across all three. So if you don't see that there, that's a reason to go ahead and dispute with them. Now, I want to talk about the different things, the different ailments that are on your credit report, okay? So like they all have to be disputed a certain way, which is why most people kind of miss the mark on how to do it. The credit bureaus, you need to know how they operate, right? They base things on your personal information. There are other bureaus outside of Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion that house your information. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard of LexisNexis, or you've heard of SageStream, or factor trust. What's another one? Core Logic, Teletrack, all of those ones, they house your information. So if you had a bankruptcy, for instance, LexisNexis would have that information. All right. So when you start the credit repair process, the best thing that you can do is remove that information from your credit report so that when they do their validation of the account, they can't find that information. That's the whole trick of credit repair, really. So old addresses, you need to remove those. If you have your driver's license, right? And it has your mom's address on it, and you know that you accumulated some debt there, or maybe a collection or something, you need to get that off. It pays off to maybe even have a passport. You know why? That passport doesn't have most of your validating information. Woo. It's stuck, y'all. Okay. It doesn't have most of your validating information. So if you're able to remove that from there, then you're cooking with something there. Okay. Got my little watermelon right there. Okay. All right. So that's first thing first. Old addresses, old information, maiden names. Look to see if your date of birth is right on there. All of these things are housed with those third-party information, and they report that information back to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. All right. So when you're looking at your credit report, let's talk about the different things now, like late payments and how those are handled. And I'll go through each thing and how those are handled. There are 9 other bureaus too, and you can find that information out on the consumer financial, the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, and I'll go into them in a little bit too. But ooh, it's kind of good. All right, so late payments. Let's start there. Late payments are actually against the law. If you didn't know that, there is a section in the FCRA that says that by timely billing, they cannot report late payments. It's actually discriminatory to your character. A lot of things that they report on your credit report are discriminatory to your character. So starting there, you can use that as factual information. Late payments normally are handled by doing a goodwill letter directly to that creditor, or either getting some type of agreement over the phone that can later be transmuted in writing, so that you can have that proof for the credit bureaus. And what I mean is, if it's like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days late, most times you can talk to that creditor directly and say, hey, such and such happened. I lost my job. I don't know. Just give them anything. You can make up something. You've made excuses on why the dog ate your homework. Hey, something happened. I went through this and lost my job, and I'm trying to get back on my feet, but this late payment is really hurting my credit score from me trying to buy a house. I'm trying to do this. Can you do that forgiveness and I'll get back on track? Most time they'll work with you, especially if the creditor wants to keep you around. However, that's something that's the way that you want to do that, in a goodwill sense, like a forgiveness of that late payment. Other than that, you want to look at that section in FCRA, and it's section 166, 1666B, I believe. I don't know the exact number, but it's if you look at 1666B and Google it and do timely payments, the whole excerpt from that will come up in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Study the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It has so many things in there that you don't know that protects you as a consumer. All right, that's late payments. Collections and charge-offs, same thing. You want to be looking at the way that it's reporting across all 3 bureaus. One other thing that a lot of people don't know about, most people know the standard 7 years on your credit report. Well, that's not always true for the state that you live in. I know I had a couple people in here from Tennessee, and Tennessee actually is 4 years as far as the statute of debt limitations on your credit report. You can find this information out simply by Googling it. What's the statute of debt limitations time in my state? And it'll let you know what exactly it is. So if that's true and that creditor is still reporting on you, that's enough reason to go ahead and take them to court or either dispute against them. Another thing is a lot of creditors do not even have a license to collect in your state. How do you find out that information? www.nmls.org. You want to type that creditor in there, and I know a couple of you seen them before. LBNB funding, portfolio recovery, IQ data. All of those creditors are pains in my side, okay? I promise you, I fight to the death with all three of them, with all of my clients, and it's like pulling teeth. There's some of they are some of the strongest ones, but what I found is they're not licensed in a lot of major states. And so what ends up happening is you can go ahead and dispute those accounts based on that information. And if they still won't move it, you can take them to court about it or hire a consumer law attorney. And that consumer law attorney can actually go after retribution for that, them reporting that inaccurate information. Again, this is defamation to your character. They normally pay out $1,000 for that case violation. All right. So it depends on how far you want to go, but you have to stay steadfast and keep on disputing. Like, you can't, if they tell you twice that they validate, you can't quit. Most people say credit repair does not work because they quit way before it's time for, to even see anything. I have a lot of clients. I have some clients that have been with me like 6 or 9 months and stuff is just now moving. Or I've had some people that did 30 days and it came all off in the first wham. It's just everybody's different. Nobody's journey is the same. Okay. So you have to keep fighting. And again, that's another reason why people hire credit repair companies. They're like, I ain't got time to be writing no letters, girl, or I don't have time. I don't have time to learn the ins and outs of repair and the rules and the laws. And that's when you hire a professional to do those things. But again, there's a letter out there for everything. I would stay away from 609 letters. And the reason why is that is the most outdated method of credit repair. I think it was around even before I got started. And I've been doing this full time for like 7, almost 8 years now, 7 years. So, and it's outdated. What I use personally for my class is the Metro 2 and factual information. Again, I'm looking for inaccuracies. I'm trying to pin the credit bureaus for reporting wrong, and I'm trying to pin those collection agencies and charge-off companies doing, reporting inaccurately. And another thing is that I've seen recently is that you can have the collection agency and the original creditor both reporting the same debt on your credit report. That's against the law. I seen it on a repossession that I've been working on for someone, and they would not budge. The original creditor would not budge. They have to, because how is that reporting still on your credit report if you sold that portfolio off to another collection agency? One thing is, when these original creditors, I don't care if it's Capital One, whoever it is, right? When they sell that debt off, it's off their books. They no longer have it. They can't report. Another thing is, in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it says specifically that if that creditor or collection agency does not have the original contract, all right, like with your hand signature or electronic signature, they really can't go after that debt. They have no proof of validation. So when they send you that letter back, hey, Experian or somebody, hey, we validated the debt, that's your cue to challenge them and say, how did you verify that? Because you didn't send me a contract. You didn't send me anything with my signature on it. How do you know it even belongs to me? So you have to continue to challenge that information. All right. Collections and charge-offs are handled that way. Bankruptcies. I know this is let me go on that one. Bankruptcies are interesting because technically those aren't supposed to be reporting on your credit report either. You know why? Because the credit bureaus do not take information from individual courts in the state, so like the Tennessee, Florida, whatever, they don't get that information. When you filed the bankruptcy, it went to a third party called LexisNexis, and LexisNexis is reporting that information to Pacer. which is an account, was like an online account. Again, has all your information. And if you create an account in Pacer, you'll actually see that you'll be like, dang, that information don't belong to me. Again, look and see what that information is. But Pacer reports that information back to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So it's went through like 2 or 3 different channels of possible incorrect information. So what we do normally is I try to catch them up in that information. I'll send a letter to the actual courthouse and ask them for validation. And what ends up happening is they'll send you a letter right back and say, hey, we don't do that. That's your proof right there to get it off of your credit report. So when Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion says, yeah, we validated bankruptcy. No, you didn't. I got this letter right here that says they don't do that. They didn't validate anything with you. So that's one way to get it off. Another way is fighting that through the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And I'll go on a little spiel about them. They're like the police, really, for credit bureaus. When you don't get the job done yourself over there and you know that they're violating you, that's who you go tattletale with. Like, hey, I'm gonna tell on you, I'm gonna tell on y'all. That's who you submit a complaint to. And then you go in there and you go and just, write them, hey, I've disputed this several times. I've had this bankruptcy court told me they do not report information to the credit bureaus, upload that bad boy letter, and boom. Normally, most times that works, but sometimes you have to consistently do it. Again, if you remember that the credit bureaus and the CFPB even sometimes are not your friend, you'll be all right. You have to defend yourself. Like, they're not at liberty to help you. I've seen most times where things can still be lingering after the time that it's supposed to come off of your credit report, especially with bankruptcies. Sometimes if you have a bankruptcy on your credit report right now, let me know. Go ahead, raise your hand in the chat. Don't be embarrassed. Let me know. But thing about it, the bankruptcy is there is more than likely a lot of other accounts. If you're looking at your credit report right now, you have bankruptcy, you'll probably see filed under chapter 7 or filed under chapter 13. So what they do is when they file the bankruptcy, you'll see that bankruptcy on your public records, but you'll see every other account on there too that you actually filed with, right? So the trick to that is you got to get that off first before you even dispute the bankruptcy. Reason why is if I'm validating the bankruptcy and I see other accounts that say in the comments charged off under chapter 7, there's your validation right there. So I got to get rid of that proof and then tackle the bankruptcy. Or you can do both at the same time. Be disputing those accounts that are still under the bankruptcy with the bureaus, and then fight the bankruptcy directly with the CFPB over here. All right. Same thing like when you build your personal and your business credit at the same time. You can both be disputing your creditors and the credit bureau at the same time. All right. So that's kind of how you handle bankruptcies. It's good, y'all. So let me know if I'm give me some feedback. Like you can speak up. Let me know if you have any questions about something. All right, and I'm gonna keep on going. But bankruptcy, what else? Evictions. Let's talk about those. Evictions, the same thing. They go when you have an eviction or you got put out of an apartment, it kind of goes in the same direction as far as they report that to CoreLogic. If you go to the cfpb.gov and go to like third-party agencies, it will let you know every third-party agency it is, what their contact information is, how to possibly put a freeze on it, and then also what realm they deal in, right? So CoreLogic would be more or less towards evictions. The MIB, the Medical Information Bureau, that's more or less towards your medical bills, and I'll get into medical bills in a second. But your evictions, you want to freeze that information from those third-party bureaus, so again they can't verify the information. And then you dispute it again with the credit bureaus directly. Again, you're looking for inaccurate information. Are the account numbers right? Are the balances? Are they saying something that I really owe? When's the data last? That data last activity will jam them up every time. Let me tell you why. If you go down there and look, if you're looking at your credit report right now, you might see something like it hasn't been touched in about a year, 2 years. That means they did not validate crap, okay? They lied to you. That's something else that you can get them on. No, you didn't. Because if it was a date of last activity, that would be like April or March, right? Because that's recent, right? That's when you updated it. Some of them accounts ain't been touched in years. Get them on that information. Evictions are quite easy to handle in that sense. Medical bills. Everybody has heard of HIPAA, right? I'm pretty sure if you are working for your employer, you've signed off on some paperwork, or if you've been to the hospital before, you've signed off on some paperwork to not display or to give out your personal medical information that is against the law. The same thing applies when that information is on your credit report, okay? So, like when you have the medical, medical information bureau, you can go ahead and freeze that information there too as well. Go to CFPB, see how to contact them. Everyone has some type of security freeze for the most part on their sites. And if you can go ahead and freeze that information while you're disputing, you're good as gold. All right. And again, you're looking for inaccurate information, but that HIPAA one, every time on medical bills, gets them every single time. One thing I found out too, and this is a little tip hack for you guys that maybe haven't incurred some late payments back in 2020 when COVID hit. I know it hit everybody. Go to the CARE Act. Again, Google this information. The CARE Act was specifically designed to not give anybody any late payments during that time during 2020. So that is some verbiage that you can put into your letter when you dispute it. If you see in that box at the bottom, now I will tell you those little boxes, 30 days, 60 day, 90 day, 120 day lates. If you saw a bunch of lates in that 2020 realm, use the CARE Act. Hey, CARE Act said I wasn't supposed to get any late payments or anything like that during 2020, or that was supposed to go on, get it off of that information. Paid collections. My favorites, because everybody's like, hey, I paid this off for. I hear that from clients all the time. And so with paid collections and how that goes, they're not obligated to remove that from your credit report, That's why I tell everybody all the time, do not waste your hard-earned money on paying off a collection. Yes, I know you owe it. Technically, it is the right thing to do to pay it off. However, it is not coming off of your credit report because you paid it. You have to strategize removing that. And when I mean strategizing it, it means you have to do a pay for delete. That's a letter. And I'm at the end of this live, I'm going to give you that information on that, on how to get that information, with the pay for delete. But basically, the pay for delete is them to put it in writing that, hey, if I pay this account, even if I pay a fraction of it, will you delete it off of my credit report? And most times they'll take that arrangement because they just want to get it off of their books. Okay. So if you owe 500, offer them 250, offer them 200. They'll most times take it. See, I got some chat there. Yeah. Okay. Bye, Queen. You're welcome. Oh yeah. Tish, it's in that website I gave is, it's in MLS. Let me put it in the chat. So www.nmls.com. I think it's nmls.com or .org. Yeah. So you want to look there to look up the collection agency to see if they are even have a license to collect in your state. Okay. So went over evictions, paid collections, and how those work. And freezing your information. And again, look, just take a highlighter. Be like, okay, this doesn't look right on, this isn't the same on Experian, this isn't the same on TransUnion, and you get them on that information. All right. What else you guys want to know about like I can tell you how to fix your debt to income ratio. I know a lot of people have that issue when they're trying to do home pre-approvals and they're trying to get their score up, and it's killing them because their credit score or their credit cards might be maxed out or something for that reason. Let's just say you do have good credit, but it's just low because you've maxed some stuff out and you just can't pay it off right now. Adding credit onto that, like in the form of either like an authorized user or widening the debt, to available credit ratio, will help increase your score. So that's why, you know, we have authorized users and in-house for people that need to do that quick fix before they actually apply for something. And you don't have to actually buy an authorized user trade line. This is only if you know for a fact you don't know anybody with good credit and you know you can't trust them to do the right thing, because the people that have authorized users with us, they're contracted. They have to keep their cards all the way at a zero balance all the time. They can't charge it because they know that. But if you know your parents have good credit, ask them. That's a freebie right there. I ask my mom all the time, hey, put me on there. Like, I got my mom and my best friend got me on one of their cards. And that's just to help me with my, you know, my age and that utilization factor. So it keeps the score a little bit higher. So
Okay.
yeah.
So like the debt to ratio, like, so is it good to keep opening up different credit cards account that gives higher balances?
Yes and no. When you're actually building credit, you're going to have to take that hit for a little while. But if you already have credit established, I wouldn't go try to open up too many new accounts. And the reason why is because that age factor is 10% of your credit score. So when you add new stuff, it kind of knocks you backwards. So if you're already like an established person, your credit score is like in the 600s, maybe even sevens, you might just want to go ahead and add an authorized user that has age on it already. That way it doesn't affect your age. But if you're a person that doesn't have any, has not built, you have one credit card that's $300 limit, like you just started, like a secured card, you just go ahead, build. That's, I think most people are scared of building credit, and that's like the meat and potatoes right there. That's what that's 35% of your score. That's what they're looking for. They want to see how many things that you can pay on time and accurately, you know. Another hack too with that payment system, when you're paying like your credit cards, look and check with your credit card company what your statement date is and what your due date is. And the reason why is because those are two different dates in that month. So what ends up happening is, if you pay, like, let's say the bill's $100, if I pay $50 on the due date and I pay $50 on the statement date, it tricks the system into updating your credit score twice, hence making your score go a little bit up. So that's a hack that you can do. We do that like all the time. I just pay like, and the way like I pay my bills is in parts too. It just, it works out in like in the algorithm of the credit, you know, it just kind of boosts it even more. So if you know those dates, find it out. You might can find out on your statement and go from there. But yeah, if you've already got established credit, I wouldn't go through opening too many more accounts. It's gonna affect your age. Another thing, there's no shame in starting you know, starting $300 $500 secured cards. You got to start somewhere, right? Don't be ashamed of that. It might take a little time, but if you got some more money, go for the gusto. Don't in my opinion, building $300 and $500 cards is kind of something you do out of college, you know. And again, I'm not shaming it. Do what you can, but if you can do more, start off $1,000 secured card if you don't have any credit, and do it at your credit union or your bank, because Capital One and all those, like, that's not gonna just necessarily build relationship. But like if you're already with a bank like USAA or maybe Federal or Bank of America, you can start building that relationship with them. And if you have a secured card, if your paychecks are depositing into that account, that makes you quicker to be approved for mortgages and other things that you might want to do with that bank in the future. And if you go ahead and do a secured card with them now, in 6 months is the industry standard time to make payments before you can go ahead and ask them for a limit increase. So just know, after 6 months of paying things on time, you can go ahead and ask them for a limit increase as long as your score is up. But what I would do is I would add an authorized user's trade line to my credit report before I do that, just to kind of boost it up to make my limit probably higher. You know, when you have $300 or $500 cards and another lender sees that, that's all they think that you can be responsible for. But when they see maybe you have an authorized user card that's like 10 or 20,000, they're like, oh, she might can handle 5 or 10 or 15. So that's the purpose of that and why that works. Guys, let me know. I'm on my TikTok too live. Hey, everybody on TikTok. Hey. I'm going
When
live up there too.
when adding yourself as the authorized user to someone's credit card, now do that make you liable for their debt or
Mm-mm.
okay?
So the beautiful thing about this is, let me have to tell you how it works when you buy one and when you're doing it from somebody you know. When you do it from somebody you know, like when I have my mom do it, she'll add me, they'll go ahead and send a card to her house. She'll just cut it up. She does, I don't need access to it. You won't have access to it, nor can that person access it in any kind of way. They don't have your card number or anything. It's just piggybacking off of the history of the credit reporting. Now, when you buy one, same thing. These people that are contracted, and this is another hack, you guys, too, if you want to create a stream of passive income for yourself by having good credit. A lot of people have good credit and maybe have like 5 or 10 credit cards. Well, each one of those credit cards, like Discover Card, I know for a fact they'll allow 5 people per month onto your as an authorized user. So let's think about it. If I have a Discover card and I have 5 people, right, and I'm charging $500 for each one of those people, that's $2,500 that month. So I made $2,500 just by adding people on for 30 days. The company is going to send the cards to your house as the, because this is your card, right? We're going to put this, and these are your 5 people, but they'll never get access to that. You are only giving them the name of that person and their date of birth, so they won't have the addresses or nothing.
Hey, Brian.
Cut them up and boom, leave them for 30 days. And that's a stream of income. I gave that to one of my, I posted on Facebook one day, and one girl I know, she does taxes, and she took it and ran with it. She made a whole business out of it because she had good credit. And she been killing it. She just go in there and post it like, hey, I got a, Discover card, $5,000 limit, who needs to be put on it for 30 days. You made $2,500 in a day just adding people on to your credit. So it pays to have good credit, y'all, for real, because you can make a whole stream of income out of it, or you can leverage it to make other investments. But no one ever has access to it in either form, whether you buy them, the authorized user trade lines, or whether your parents or family adds you to it. They can only do that if they actually physically put the card in your hand, and your mom or somebody would have to do that. But no, you don't have access to it, or can run it up or anything like that. Memphis City Credit Union offers secure credit cards as well. Okay, yeah, check it out. Credit unions are always better than, and I'm going over time a little bit today. If that's cool with y'all, I will hang with y'all till 8. I know I'm supposed to be going, but I love talking about this stuff, so we'll hang out a little bit longer. But credit unions are the best as far as relationships. The reasons why the interest rates tend to be a little bit lower for their members, and they just have a lot more perks, and it's a lot more personable. Normally you have to have some type of affiliation for some credit unions, or you might have to pay like a fee just to get a membership, but way better. Yeah, you're welcome, Christy. I know I said I was going to be done with 7:30. I'm just lagging over a little bit. Thank you for attending. We're going to do another one in 2 weeks, you guys. And I haven't decided what the subject on that one's going to be yet. It might be business credit, but I'm going to do something else in 2 weeks. I haven't decided yet. I knew it immediately. I was going to do it in the repairing credit, because this is the framework for everything else, right? To get to the mortgages, you got to have good credit, right? To get to the funding, you got to have good credit, right? So it's like, let's start at the base. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, and then let me teach you how to get everything else, going. You want to get the passive income going, you got to have the credit, So nobody let me know what they was drinking on tonight either. This supposed to be happy hour. What's wrong with y'all? No, I'm saying. I'm just playing. But it's supposed to be, just really laid back. I just wanted to just talk with you guys and just chop it up how I would if you met me in person and we were sitting at the bar and just giving you everything off my dome. I did not prepare for this and nothing. This is just what I know. Been doing this full time 7 years. Just a little bit more about me. I've had iCredit Solutions that long. I have dealt with thousands and hundreds of people, helping repair their credit and preparing them for real life situations, mortgages, cars, passive income opportunities, funding, personal funding, business funding. We do all of that here. I don't just fix credit. This is a one-stop shop. So if you needed anything, you need to come to me and just ask me about it. I even do business strategy, like a pick my brain session. If you can't figure out, like, let's just say, for instance, you're at your job right now, right? You're trying to get a house probably in the next 6 months. You want to can't figure it out really how to get your credit together. You just need a knowledgeable friend. Hey, you pick my brain for an hour. I'll help you come up with some ideas, you know, and strategy in a timeline on when you can get those things done. That's what I do. So see if anybody else, anybody asking anything on TikTok now. But
Well, I'm asking questions because I'm trying to reach
shoot,
to
yeah,
buy a
yeah.
house. Okay, so I have that there's like 2,400, and then I have a debt that's 1,100 that just occurred in November. The other one is the older debt that I'm like getting garnished for, but not garnished because I work under the table. They can't touch my income at the moment. But who I'm going through with for the credit repair, they basically telling me like, go ahead and pay the $1,100 off instead of paying the higher debt ratio off.
Yeah. So that's called snowballing your debt, and that they will be telling you that accurately. If they felt like they couldn't get it off for some reason, I'm pretty sure that's why they told you that. I will look heavily at that account though and look for those inaccuracies that we were talking about and see if there's something there that maybe they might be missing on the way that this disputing. If someone's already fixing your credit, just ask them about it. Be like, hey, like I looked at this and I did see that this was different. Have you guys, got them on that reason? Now that just look at it and just be like, did you get them on that? And see. Make sure that they're disputing directly with the creditor too, as well, and not just the collection, not just the credit bureau, the collection agency or original creditor themselves. Also, look and see if that creditor or collection agency again is it past the time of debt limitations. Has it been 3 years, 4 years? Not everything is 7 years. Everybody thinks that 7 years is supposed to be like that's the time that's supposed to be on your credit report. That's not always applicable. Girl, oh, these mosquitoes do not play in Florida. Woo! But but yeah, you want to look at those things. If they told you to pay it off, that's another fast thing too. Like I said, I'm not telling you not to pay your bills by any means. Sometimes that is the quickest thing, especially if you have a deadline of you trying to like I'm trying to buy a house in 3 months. I might need to go ahead and take care of that, But I would definitely make sure that it's going to be deleted though. I would contact the creditor and be like, hey, I'm about to buy a house in a couple months. I would like to pay off this debt. Will you accept this minimum payment? Okay, you won't? All right, cool. Well, I'll pay the whole thing off, but can you send me in writing to my email or either send me a letter in the mail that says that you will delete this, in fact, when I do pay this off? So that way, if you find out that they updated as a paid collection on your credit report, you can take that letter and dispute it. And I would go through the CFPB, write that down. So, I don't know if I put that in the chat. Let me put that down again. www.cfpb.gov. And that's where you're going to dispute most of the things that are coming back validated. That's your tattletale site. I want to tell on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That's where you will go and report them. You can report creditors too as well over there. Okay. So I hope this was really good information for you guys. Like I said, I didn't want to like boggle you down and like do a teaching thing. I'm going to also put in the chat too where you can go on my website and you can actually get my challenge my credit book, and it has a lot of these letters that I was speaking of in that format in that ebook. And all you have to do is just plug your name, social address and all that information into there, and then just send it off, and put the account number and the name of the creditor and just send it off in case you don't know exactly what to say or how to formulate that. There's a lot of different letters out there too as well. Grab some from Etsy if you don't want to get ours, you know. But the whole set is like $27. It's nothing. It's like less than a meal right now nowadays. Everything, every time how high everything is. I do have another strategy that I've done too on there that you'll check out in the DIY credit repair. This is called 100 points in 30 days, and it's my strategy on how to raise your credit point in 100 points in 30 days. And I have the webinar version of me going on there talking, and then the ebook version. You can do either one of those. And then I also have the leverage my credit ebook on there as well. All of these things are like under 30 bucks, you guys. Like, so they're little or nothing. But that one specifically, the leverage my credit, is gold, because what I did was I took my knowledge of each bank, credit union, creditor, lender, and found out what bureau that they pull from. That way you're prepared before you go ahead and start applying over there, and you know what score that you need to be at and everything, so you don't miss. Because one thing is that one thing is like try not to do more than 4 inquiries on your credit report in a year span. When you go to try to get funding, it makes you look like you're searching frivolously, and it makes you high risk. So try not to apply for too many things. If you have a lot of inquiries, oh, I didn't cover that part. You guys didn't tell me inquiries. Let me tell you how that handled that too. That's one other part. That's a negative part. All right. So inquiries. Experian is the only bureau that you can actually call on the phone, but they've been giving some people smoke lately because they know this. They know that everybody, that information is online. If you call and be very friendly to them, most times they'll go ahead and remove them off of it. Okay, thanks, Anna. If you go ahead and you know, do the increase and call Experian, they'll remove them over the phone. TransUnion and Equifax, you have to do a letter to them, and you want to tell them that you did not give permissible purpose for that inquiry to be on your credit report. Sometimes people go apply for cars and look up, and they'll have like 20 something inquiries on their credit report because they ran it 100 million times. All right, so you want to stay away from that. The way to do that, get your pre-approvals at your credit union. That's why I favor credit unions, mortgages, and all of that. Car approvals, do it there. All right. Hey, Queen, I'll get you back. Yeah, sure, ask DeQuinta. You can ask it out loud, or you can chat it, whatever.
Okay. My question is, I use Credit Visio.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with it.
I've heard
So
of it.
they put all of your TransUnion collectors on like the same page.
Mhm.
I know I'm gonna send it like that. That's how I send everything to TransUnion. But
Oh yeah.
do I break it down like this creditor, this collector, do I individual do letters for each?
I typically do my credit repair by category. And that's just so that they can focus on one thing at one time. Sometimes you can put everything on one report if it's under 20 items and it's going to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. I typically like to do all my inquiries for TransUnion in one letter, do all my inquiries for Experian in one, I do it by the whatever the negativity is. So I'll do all my charge offs, and I'll do it again. That's why it takes so long, credit repair process. I would fight the inquiries first. Reason why, and I do this all the time. The reason why is, think about it. If you applied for a Capital One card and you got an inquiry back in 2003, let's say, for example, and in this past year, that account went into collections, and I'm trying to dispute it, and they're looking for factual information, there goes that factual information that account ever existed by the inquiry. But if I remove that inquiry first, they have nothing to go back on. That's why you want to do your inquiries first. Try to get your inquiries off first, then do your accounts in layers, and then do your hard stuff like last. Do your bankruptcies and your evictions and the heavy stuff, heavy hitter stuff last. But personally, the order in which I'm sorry, y'all, I'm waving because these mosquitoes tearing my butt up, and I'm gonna get off in a minute. But you want to do it in spurt, and so in that spurt is personal information, make sure that's correct. We remove all old addresses. Inquiries would be next. Collections, charge-offs, late payments. I normally like to go after late payments after inquiries because that is 50 to 100 points of your score. So most times I like to go there first and boost that score on up and then, do the collections and charge offs. But yeah, the bureaus are only going to fight so much at one time. They'll send it, they'll disregard your inquiry request to do a dispute. What if a collection on your report matches all 3 credit bureaus? Yeah, you can still dispute it. You can still dispute it. Sometimes it'll just come off just because, even if it is accurate. Not all the time you'll see inaccuracies. Not all the time. So you still want to dispute that information. It might be something where they can't validate it because it got sold off the collection agency, and when they bought it, they didn't send your contracts with them. That still sits at the original creditor. So you can get them on that information. How did you validate it when you don't have my contract? How do you know? Always ask questions. Don't just take their word for face value, because the credit bureaus be with it, and sometimes they won't even send you your dispute results. You'll have to. That's why I tell people all the time, like, get some formal credit monitoring. The best one on the market is MyFICO. At myfico.com, it might be the highest priced one monthly, but it gives you every FICO model that all creditors and lenders look at. So if you want to know what your mortgage lender is looking at, boom. If you want to know what the car dealership is going to be looking at, boom. Go to myfico.com. That's the best one on the market. Leave Credit Karma alone. That's another thing too, is Credit Karma is a Vantage score. It's not a FICO score. Vantage scores are based on certain things, and FICO scores have different models, but mostly all lenders go on FICO. Yeah, I can put the links in the chat again. So it's NMLS, I think it's .com, or it might be, woo, these mosquitoes is not playing. All right, NMLS.com, NMLS.org. I'm sorry, it might be, I don't know what the last, it's NMLS though. All right, it's the consumer database, and you want to put that creditor. So if it's like portfolio recovery or whatever, go ahead and put whoever it is that's trying to collect on you in that box and see if your state pops up. And then the other one, the Tattletale site that I was telling you about, you want to tell on Experian, Equifax, and Trade Union, is going to be cfpb.gov. When you want to file a dispute, when you want to fight your bankruptcy, things like that. And the thing about doing it there is it's a lot faster than doing the letter, because when you send the letter off by law, they have 30 days to respond to that. That's why credit repair takes so long. That's exactly why it takes so long, because they have 30 days to do their investigation. And so you can't get anything back. Oh yeah, the ebook. So if you go to my website, it's www.icredit- or dash, whatever you want to say, so solutions.com/DIY credit repair. And the book that has all the letters in it, that where you just got to plug and play, is the Challenge My Credit ebook. And if you want to do the strategy about like how to raise your credit report in 100 points in 30 days or leverage my credit, all of my publications that I've written are there. And they're not anything that I bought or resold or anything like that. I've personally put my own 2 cents and magic in there. So, and did the research on what these creditors and credit bureaus are going to pull from. I do my homework, y'all, all the time. I like to know the ins and outs. I dig deeper than surface level what you like to find online, because I know there's more to it, and to be prepared. Because if you don't know what you're searching for or how to do it, say for example, funding, I strategize my client's funding. If I know that client needs $100,000, I know in my mind it's going to be fairly hard to hit one place for $100,000. But if I get them a $25,000 card on Experian and a $50,000 card on or line of credit, with Lindy or somebody, or it has to be strategized. So you have to strategize your inquiries. Think about that all the time. And remember, I told you don't do more than 4 in 1 year. So if I know that, knowing I need to get funding for my house, knowing that house is going to be inquiry 2, that's 2 right there. So you just have to strategize it. And sometimes you can have a higher score on one bureau than the others, and sometimes you can go ahead and make moves on that bureau while you're fixing the others. Your TransUnion, let's say you're doing the credit repair process, right? and your TransUnion frees up everything before your Equifax and Experian does. But you're trying to go get your body done next month. Go ahead and apply for care credit. You're set, you got 700 or whatever on TransUnion, they're not going to see your experience. You got to know what these creditors pull from. So the Leverage My Credit book is very helpful in that sense. It lets you know what the best travel credit cards are, what the best everything. I did my research on that one. I'm proud of that ebook. It's like a little Bible, lets you know everything. Y'all got 8 up, y'all. I hope this is informational for y'all. I got 4 minutes. Y'all let me know any last questions and stuff like that. Give me anything too, some feedback on what you want me to talk about. We're gonna do this again in 2 weeks. And what you might want me to cover on the next 2 weeks. And again, these are all like free informational sessions. I hope I gave you enough tonight to where you can go dig and find out more information yourself. Good investments. I can do that. If you want to do the FCRA book too as well, I think if you go on to free publications on the CFPB.gov and go under free publications, they'll send you a bunch of FCRA books for free. I normally like to order them for my clients when I do in-person events, just to spread out on table and stuff, but you can order them for yourself. And then that way you can learn the Fair Credit Reporting Act and what the laws. Good investments. I will cover that probably in 2 weeks. Yes, good investments and passive income. I think that's very important, especially with our economy right now. It's going to trash, y'all. And so everybody needs to learn how to, have the HIPAA letter. The HIPAA letter, I do believe is in there. Okay. Again, if you don't know exactly what to say with that, just tell them, hey, it's a HIPAA violation. Even if it's a collection, you can go ahead and add on to that too as well in those books. Like if you want to, it's not I think when you download it's like a PDF, you can alter it and put what you want to put in there. But you can always tell them like, yeah, the HIPAA violation. All right. So yeah, we'll go over that in 2 weeks. I like that. Good investments, passive income ideas, multiple streams of income ideas. That will be and how to leverage your credit too, and how that will all tie in together to get the funding to get those things going. I think that'll be a good one to talk about in the next 2 weeks. So make sure you guys are subscribed to my website, www.icredit-whatever you want to say, solutions.com. Make sure you get your notifications. That way you'll know when the next one is coming again. It's going to be next Wednesday in 2 weeks from now, and we'll go over those things. If you have any other ideas or just quick questions, feel free to shoot me something on the website. If you follow me on Facebook or TikTok, go ahead and shoot me really quick. If you would like to work with me directly, I will send you those links too as well. All right, I still am accepting some clients for credit repair, but again, I want you guys to learn this stuff yourself so you can fix it yourself. I'll do it for you if you just like, girl, I'm not doing it. Okay. Would you remind quick score boosters? Like, yes, absolutely. Self-lender, kickoff, credit strong. There's another one that I promoted this week that's for your kids. Oh, I forgot everything about FinLit. I forgot to tell you guys. FinLit is coming out on June 1st, okay? I am going to educate your teens and your young adults this summer on financial literacy. I'm so excited because my son is actually staying with me right now. He had to come home. It's hard for these kids out here right now. He had to come home for a little while and gather his bearings. So while I'm teaching him, I'm doing the flow plans to teach all the rest of your kids too as well. Okay, so every Saturday this summer, make sure I say if you subscribe to my site, you'll get the notifications about it. And to do FinLit, it's gonna be really affordable. Every Saturday morning, they'll probably sit with me for like an hour or two, just like this, and I'm just gonna educate them on everything: college, what to invest in, how to start their credit, how to write checks like checks and balances, the banks, credit unions, everything, interest rates, how that works, everything. Okay, it's going to be very informative and interactive. They're going to have like little workflows. I know I got to keep kids entertained, so yeah. So it's going to be dope. I'm excited about that. But yeah, all the boosters. Now be careful with those boosters too. Again, this is only for if you're building credit. For you people that's established credit, be careful with that because again, it's going to reset your age. All right. So just be careful when you're adding those. Experian Boost is another one. That's another free one. You have Experian.com and you pay Netflix or you pay your utility bills or your telephone bills every month. Go ahead and do Netflix. Experian Boost. It will boost your score automatically like 25, 30 points. So when you get off of this call, go to Experian.com and do that. All right. That will help you immediately tonight. Okay. I am so thankful for you guys for coming on this live with me and hanging out with me tonight and having some drinks. I appreciate you all for the ones that do show up. Some of my clients are here. I love you dearly. Thank you for trusting me and our business with, we're trusting iCredit Solutions with your credit needs. And we're hanging in there, you guys. We're going to do it all this year. And I just want you all to win. Okay. So let me know if you need me. Again, you have my channels and websites and all that good stuff. And I'm going to see you guys in 2 weeks for good investments and passive income ideas. All right. Have a good evening. Stay safe. Talk to you guys again soon. Bye.